Qingyun Gate, Training Period, Friar's Valley. After Lu Yuan woke up, he found himself in an antique room. He split on the spot. When Lu Yuan still wanted to observe and see what other useful information around him, a strange memory suddenly flooded into Lu Yuan's mind. It turned out that he had crossed into a new world. A world of immortals, demons, far removed from his previous life. Lu Yuan quickly sorted out the situation and realized that he was a disciple of Qingyun Gate during the Qi training period. The predecessor of Lu Yuan is a genius whose overall spiritual root attributes are far superior to those of ordinary people. His overall psychic attributes reached an astonishing 150. Lu Yuan faces the third test of Qingyun Gate, and if Lu Yuan does not want to go down, he must reach the base period within the 2 test periods. As Lu Yuan pondered his future, there was a cold voice in my head. The chosen lucky star is simply the exclusive talent of the stable monster. Lu Yuan chose the chosen fortune star, a gift of Qi, to freely control the Qi and seize the Qi others, in order to improve the success rate of cultivation and breakthrough. However, he also realized that this gift of Qi could cause him to suffer bad luck many times, in order to accumulate more Qi luck.
Blessings, disasters, blessings and disasters depend on each other. Whether it is blessings or disasters, it is still unknown.
Just as Lu Yuan was thinking about how to use the gift of Qi to improve his cultivation, he suddenly remembered that he had forgotten an important thing. He was in the boudoir of a senior sister. And the reason was simple. Because his predecessor was not moving forward. He planned to eat her soft food, and the senior sister's fiancé had come to her.
No, who would have thought that the first thing he would do after crossing over would be to be the hidden Lao Wang next door?
If Lu Yuan remembers correctly, the Chuji disciples were allowed to choose a private cave. The cave of his senior sister happened to be located on a mountaintop. The wooden window is facing the abyss of nothing, which means that outside the window, absolutely no one. Lu Yuan jumped out of bed, went out of the window, stood firm, and moved in one go, very professional. But unlike that chic action, Lu Yuan's face at this time is very pale, because he was just practicing QI. But they can't fly with swords yet. If this falls, it's a dead body.
Forget it, I'd better go back. It's too dangerous here.
But when he was about to return, the door was opened, forcing him to hide out the window again, because he did not want to be found by the brother.
Others are crossed by the fiancé door to retire. Don't bully the young poor, work hard. Crossing themselves, forced to be the next door Lao Wang, the cliff wall blowing cold wind, shivering. The same crossing, why the gap is so big?
Hiding on the cliff wall, Lu Yuan listened clearly to the dialogue in the room. He tried to keep quiet and not be seen. Ye Shuyu looked around, eyes slightly narrowed, to make sure that after Lu Yuan hid, turned to look at the man in front of her. It is her fiancé in the earth, Chen Yan. Chen Yan looks ordinary. Temperament has no characteristics, and compared with Lu Yuan, far worse.
Sister Ye, you have changed. It's not what it was before.
Brother Chen, not only have I changed, but you have also changed. Brother Chen, the joke of childhood, do not count. I really don't have any feelings for you right now, including compassion. Brother Chen, the door is for the guests, and you, he's not my guest.
Hearing this, Chen Yan's face suddenly froze. Anyone else would have been pissed off by now, but when you lick a dog, it's a different story. Yan looked at the charming face of the bed. After a moment of hesitation, decided not to go from the front door. But Lu Yuan heard Chen Yan not walk from the front door, immediately panicked. Soon, Lu Yuan heard footsteps at the window. Obviously, someone was approaching here. Danger, danger, danger. After finding that Chen Yan was going out of the window, Lu Yuan began to hurry to find a place where he could hide. Unfortunately, there aren't any hiding places around here. Chen Yan jumped out of the window and was about to fly with his sword. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Lu Yuan. 2 people, 4 eyes to each other. The scene was once very awkward. Lu Yuan looked at Chen Yan, whose face changed from livid to stunned. Give an awkward but polite smile. Lu Yuan moved toward the window. While drumming calm to Chen Yan, said, "Chen brother, walk slowly." But in the moment Lu Yuan just entered the room, a terrible flame came from the rear. So Lu Yuan made a decision to go against her ancestors and shouted, "Sister, save me," while running. The more Chen Yan thought about it, the more angry he became. But at that moment, the voices of other disciples in the foundation period came from outside the cave. Chen Yan hesitated for a moment, did not want to say his embarrassing things. With the help of the gap between Chen Yan and Ye Shuyu confrontation, Lu Yuan looked at the panel of 2 people. Seeing the name on the panel of Ye Shuyu, it was a dream-like smoke. Lu Yuan was completely confused. Not only that, Ye Shuyu's exercises and magic powers. Look at the name, you know is not a good family. Lu Yuan's heart suddenly set off a towering wave. Is it impossible for her to? A mole planted by hostile forces? And the reason she came to me was not to try to turn me into a stove. At this point, Lu Yuan subconsciously stepped back half a step. Originally in the confrontation with Chen Yan, Ye listened to the rain. In the sense of the rear situation, subconsciously turned to look at him. Comfort Lu Yuan, not to be afraid. Lu Yuan mouth slightly twitching, mother. I am not afraid of him, but afraid of you, this man. Eating demon girl. Lu Yuan thought he was only facing a fairy version of next door Lao Wang was arrested scene, but did not expect to be involved in a fairy version of infernal affairs. Lu Yuan in Chen Yan, and ye listen to rain between desperate, can only first hold ye listen to rain thighs. After all, be picked up then be stick to the face fireball technique killed. Chen Yan accused Ye of only valuing Lu Yuan's appearance and eloquence, but without any value. After Chen Yan leaves, Lu Yuan feels that he is missed by a senior brother of the foundation period and may face greater trouble. The big injustice kind of victim is gone, but the demon lady is not gone. When Lu Yuan was thinking hard about the way to break the game, a seductive voice came from her ear. Ye Shuyu stretched his hand toward Lu Yuan's open robe, and as long as she was there, Lu Yuan would not be in danger. Lu Yuan refused to obey Ye, but she threatened him with retribution from the two monks if he disobeyed her. Lu Yuan wanted to refuse, but he knew he was not strong enough to fight the anger of the two foundation monks. Eventually, he had to give in. Not talking all night. Look at the prompts of the system, and recall the events of last night. Lu Yuan suddenly have a feeling that he is a big injustice. Sure enough, this demon woman is taking him as a stove tripod. If not the predecessor Alec wise words, now this big injustice is Chen Yan. Can only say that this soft rice, not everyone can eat. Fortunately, Lu Yuan's psychic credentials were only temporarily reduced, not permanently. Otherwise, Lu Yuan will really cry to death on the spot. However, last night's events, Lu Yuan is not all on the losing side. System tip. Chai Talent selected Blessing Star launched. Capture the foundation period, Monk Dream Smoke. Chi value of 50 points. Gain the foundation period, Monk Chen Yan. Aura value of 20 points. Cumulative damage. 2. Current air transport value, 120. Overnight, the terrestrial source gained a full 70 points of air transport. What he lost was only a temporary reduction in his spiritual root cultivation qualifications. And if it really counted up, it seemed that he also earned it. At this thought, Lu Yuan was suddenly speechless. He lost a certain amount of spiritual root qualification for a certain period of time, harvested a rare QI view, and certainly did not lose. Although Ye listened to the rain temporarily lost the QI, but also to the actual want of the spirit root qualification, the same does not lose. Only Chen Yan not only lost his fiancée, but also lost part of the gas transport value, and directly lost numbness. At this rate, of the three, only Chen Yan is that big injustice species. Lu Yuan is forced to use the double cultivation method, Magic Desire Bingson Lu, and Dream Like Smoke to absorb the spirit root of the way to improve their own strength. But this method has two obvious defects. First of all, the practitioner may have feelings for the other person in the process of double cultivation. Once the feelings accumulate to a certain extent, the dream may even be like smoke and follow the instructions of the cultivation object. That is, from a goddess on high to a lowly licking dog. Secondly, cultivators can only absorb the energy of the weaker cultivators. No matter which point, Lu Yuan is undoubtedly very much in line with. Cultivation is low. Ling root qualification is outstanding. No matter how to look at it is the best double cultivation object. This makes Lu Yuan an ideal object for dreams like smoke. So the dream like smoke will find the land source and carry out threats and inducements. The current situation is that no matter how Lu Yuan tries to please the dream, his end result is the same. Because dreams are like smoke and never allow their own state of mind to have problems. Once Lu Yuan has lost its use value for her, being sucked dry seems to be an inevitable outcome. Although Lu Yuan is not aware of all this, he is still trying to protect himself. Lu Yuan thought the best way was to reach the foundation period as soon as possible. Once he reaches this stage, he can not only gain a certain status within the sect, but also have a certain ability to protect himself. He even dreamed of being able to reverse the guest in the future, reverse the status of dreaming like smoke, and realize the magnificent counterattack of the surf singing. You wait, little lord. Sooner or later I will make you kneel down to sing conquest. In his excited imagination, Lu Yuan sat up with his body and looked at the system panel. Lu Yuan, revised as 5 layers of key training stage, natural luck, Lucky Star. Exercises. LV5. Qinyun Ji, practicing Qi. Skills. LV3. Object bending. LV2. Sword fighting. LV5. Fire control. However, due to the distribution of Ling Root, Lu Yuan's cultivation speed actually lags behind others. If we can't find a way to overcome this, it will be difficult for Lu Yuan to reach the foundation period before the 2 school assessments. Fortunately, Lu Yuan, or his predecessor, has come up with a solution. I saw in the bedside position, placed a Dangu disciple waistplate. The advantages of Dangu disciple status are self-evident, which is also the reason why Lu Yuan's predecessor chose to eat soft rice. Lu Yuan holds the waist card. The mood is very complicated. This scene, how so like the female frequency novel, the domineering female president threw a pile of money at the bedside the next day scene. Ah.
I didn't expect that someone on the land actually also had to be forced to eat soft rice one day. Hateful,
Lu Yuan finally chose to pick up the waistplate, ready to embark on the road of alchemy. In the Dangu of Qinyun Gate, Lu Yuan became a disciple of the Outer Gate and welcomed the new journey of alchemy. He faced the spectacular scene of hundreds of refining furnaces, and his heart was a little shocked. The elder brother told Lu Yuan that alchemy depended not only on the innate spiritual root qualification, but also on the acquired effort and the alchemy talent, and then told Lu Yuan about the rules and precautions of alchemy. Lu Yuan was assigned to an alchemy furnace, and as Dangu's apprentice, his task was to refine the basic Shilian phase potion every day. The elder brother reminded Lu Yuan that refining Dan medicine was not easy, and if he could not refine qualified Dan medicine within the prescribed period, he would leave Dangu after a year. Lu Yuan's next task is to refine the basic Peiyuan Dan, which provides 10 doses of medicine every day. If he can steadily refine a certain amount of basic Peiyuan Dan within a year, he will have the opportunity to be promoted to the outer door disciple of Dangu. Later, if he refines the herbal medicine of the foundation period alone, he can become a formal disciple and enjoy various benefits of the school. When the elder brother left, Lu Yuan went to the furnace assigned to him and picked up the Dan Fang that had been placed on the empty space. Basic Peiyuan Dan. Training period. Effect. It can improve the user's spiritual force absorption speed in a certain period of time. Lu Yuan has the conditions for refining, but there is no hurry to start. But when to a basic Peiyuan Dan is refining behind the elder brother, began to seriously observe. The other party was concentrating on refining the basic Peiyuan Dan at this time, and did not notice the arrival of Lu Yuan. Bah! Boom! Accompanied by an explosion. The elder brother, because he did not control the heat, resulting in a failure of the refinery, the furnace produced an explosion. In the process of the other party's chagrin, Lu Yuan decisively left quietly. Avoid the other party will be the reason for their failure, attributed to his interference in the side. Make no mistake, there are more pan flyers in the world than you think. Next, Lu Yuan began to wander behind each elder brother, when the wretched old 6 concentrate on learning. Lu Yuan acquired the skill after spending a morning intently watching the alchemy process. An hour later, ding! You have carefully observed the refining process of basic Peiyuan Dan, and gained new skills, basic alchemy. Looking at the panel, Lu Yuan was in a very good mood, and it was true that he watched alchemy all morning. Subsequently, Lu Yuan decided to start his own alchemy practice. As long as he can master alchemy technology, help him break through to the foundation period in a short time, and even possibly get rid of the bondage of the demon dream smoke. In the alchemy hall, Lu Yuan began his first alchemy with confidence. Although he still has some room to hone in fire control and object bending, he monitors every step through a system panel to maximize his alchemy success. The system panel displays various indicators: flame temperature, refining degree, blending degree, lucky value, and current success rate. Lu Yuan carefully adjusted the flame temperature, the pursuit of the best refining degree, crazy point lucky value number, to increase the success rate. When Lu Yuan was concentrating on the refining of basic Peiyuan Dan, an old man in the refining hall seemed to notice Lu Yuan's refining technique, and came over curiously. At this time, Lu Yuan was concentrating on alchemy, so he did not notice the old man who walked behind him. Lu Yuan was exhausted and sweating in a short time. Damn it, alchemy was that hard. While joking in his heart, Lu Yuan insisted on gnashing his teeth and endeavoring to maintain the overall success rate of this alchemy at more than 50%. Finally, after his painstaking operation, the liquid medicinal essence in the alchemy furnace gradually merged together and condensed into young Dan. After a while, 10 young Dan finally faded the surface of the fire red, emitting a little luster. Lu Yuan controlled Ten Young Dan with bending and flew away from the furnace. When Ten Young Dan fell behind the wooden box in Lu Yuan's hands, Lu Yuan found that only 3 of the 10 Young Dan were rounded and full in appearance. Although only 3 were successful, Lu Yuan was still very excited. On the one hand, he almost reached the qualification standard in his first alchemy. On the other hand, he achieved a wealth of skill proficiency improvement. Numbers flicker on the system panel, recording his growth in object bending, fire control, and alchemy. You seriously carried out fire control. Fire control skill proficiency +3. You have carefully carried out bending proficiency +5. You carefully refined the potion once. Alchemy proficiency +10. Lu Yuan's self-confidence also increased, and he was full of expectations for the future road of alchemy. With this one-hand probability flow alchemy, Lu Yuan felt that he got rid of the dream like smoke. This demon girl's day is very near.
Wait, I Lu Shanqi will prove to that demon one day. I'm not the kind of guy who fucking eats shit. I, Lu Yuan, Lu Shanqi, very talented.
Inside the Dangu Hall, Lu Yuan succeeded in refining the basic Piwandan for the first time. But instead of being proud, he carefully analyzed the improvements. This approach has allowed her to gain a lot. You have seriously reflected on the alchemy process, and your alchemy proficiency is +15. Lu Yuan analyzes the reasons for his success. Luck plays a big part, but luck is also a part of strength, and Lu Yuan is the kind of person who can control his own luck. While Lu Yuan was concentrating on his cultivation, the old man quietly left, and the old man returned to the rear of the hall. The elder became interested in Lu Yuan, believing that he had the potential to become a true disciple. The elders instructed that more resources be given to the land source, and set a test, refining the foundation period potion within a year. Lu Yuan has made remarkable progress in 1 month, and his skill proficiency has improved greatly. He was filled with a sense of accomplishment, and thought he had become stronger. But just when Lu Yuan was proud of his success, he was ready to have a good sleep and meet the new month of study and life tomorrow. An enchanting figure appeared at the Dangle Gate, and this person is Lu Yuan's nightmare. Sister Dream like smoke. The purpose of her coming here is very simple. That is, to prepare a good visit to his Dao lover that has not gone home for a month. Ask him why he is hiding from himself, who gave him the courage. In the evening, Dan Valley Hall, Dream like smoke looking for land source. She readily stopped a Dan Valley disciple. This glance. The disciple was captured but was an obsessed Dan Valley disciple block. Dream like smoke looked at the face of the pig brother, a face obsessed Dangu disciples. Mouth slightly raised. Complacent. It seems that it is not their own charm decline, is the problem of someone. This disciple was entrusted by Dream like smoke to find Lu Yuan. Eventually, Lu Yuan appeared, but was threatened by Dream like smoke, had to accompany her back. Back in the cave of Dream Smoke, Lu Yuan was forced to do an enhanced version of cultivation. And this time, Dream Smoke was directly released after the end of cultivation. The next Lu Yuan must return once a week. Fail to do so at your own risk. Although Lu Yuan has a new refusal, but under the force of the Dream Demon Woman, but also had to nod and agree to this unequal treaty. After the dream left the next day, Lu Yuan supported his sore body and looked at his system panel. System tip. Due to the impact of Qi Talent Demon Heart Jade Bone and Kung Fa Demon Desire Bingsun Record, the host Spirit Root qualification temporarily decreased by 30 points. Qi Talent Selected Fortune Star launched. Seizing the foundation period monk dream such as Smoke 70. 5 points of Qi. Cumulative number of bad luck. 3. Current Qi value. 190. 5. Even destroyed by the demon twice, Lu Yuan tearfully obtained 170. But it certainly won't stay that way. He was afraid that one day the witch would rip off the disguise and just suck him dry. To avoid that day, Lu Yuan felt his plans had to accelerate. Strive to become Dangu true disciple as soon as possible. Get rid of the bondage of dreams like smoke. Until that can be done, he must remain hidden to avoid arousing the suspicions of the Dream Witch. Give their own development, for precious time. Creepy development, no waves. Lu Yuan carefully planned, decided to learn the different fire avatar Qinyan, and then master the refining method of Jujiji Dan medicine. He became a Trojan horse with his alchemy talent, and planned to become a true disciple of the elders of the Jidan period, in order to get rid of the control of dreams like smoke. As far as he was concerned, the plan was perfect. He humorously imagined that if he were in the world of Cthulhu, with his intelligence, the world of Cthulhu would not be a riot. However, he knows that no matter how perfect the plan is, it must be implemented. Otherwise, it is just a castle in the air. He used the benefits of Qinyan Gate to exchange for the cultivation of Qinyan, but found that the cultivation conditions were very harsh. Need fire, wood double spirit root qualification at more than 30 points, and also need a green Yandan. Lu Yuan meets Lingen qualification with the advantage of bucket number, but the refining of Qinyan Dan is still a difficult problem. He decided to use the treasures of the school to exchange green Yandan. Found that the price is not cheap, Lu Yuan bumped his storage bag, and now he has only 2 in the storage bag of Lingxi. And one of the spiritual stone is a dream like smoke to him. Call it pocket money. Even Dream Smoke also joked that if Lu Yuan did well in the future, she could consider giving him a medium stone every month. In the end, Lu Yuan gnashed his teeth and bought a Qinyan Dan. The province of the flower, night money day smallpox. After the big deal, a lot of pleased that demon girl is. After getting what he wanted, Lu Yuan set off in the direction of Dangu, although he wanted to start practicing Qinyan right away. But Lu Yuan did not forget his daily alchemy task. Although it is a task, the process of refining basic Puyuan Dan not only improves his skill proficiency and cultivation, the refined basic Peiyuan Dan can also improve his cultivation efficiency. Such a good thing, Lu Yuan certainly will not give up. As far as the cultivation of Cytitis, it is okay to practice in the evening. After all, the demon is letting herself go home once a week, not every day. A mature man must know how to resist the temptation to go home. It is a mature man's time management skills. On the night of Donggu Hall, Lu Yuan decided to try to practice the supernatural fire avatar Qinyan. However, after entering the chamber to prepare for cultivation, he did not immediately begin cultivation, but fell into a stare at the panel of the system. Qinyan, lucky value, 0, cultivation success rate, 50%. Lu Yuan thought that after he met all the cultivation conditions, he had a smart brain. Isn't it easy to cultivate a little green inflammation? But unfortunately, the success rate of my practice of Qinyan is only 50%. In order to increase the success rate, he activated the Qi talent selected Fortune Star, and did not mind consuming a large amount of Qi value. Ding! The main air transport value has been reduced to 10 points, and 10 points is the lowest air transport. If the air transport continues to decrease, special effects and natural disasters may be triggered. Lu Yuan does not know what will happen if his Qi level drops below 10. But he obviously didn't want to try. After all, who likes to look for abuse? Besides, what special effects and natural disasters come? It is not a good state. With the allocation of QI transport value by Lu Yuan, the success rate of cultivating Qinyan has indeed improved a lot. Looking at the success rate on the panel, Lu Yuan's confidence disappeared.
Only 68.5% success rate? This is not scientific. No, is this green inflammation so difficult to practice? By converting 180, 5 lucky points, the result is only an 18.5% increase in success rate.
Lu Yuan stood on the spot. Ding! If the condition for triggering the time of the chosen is met, the number of bad luck times is cleared after triggering. Is it triggered? The time of choice will last for 5 minutes, doubling the current level. Through a series of metaphysical operations, including bathing and changing clothes and sincere prayer, Lu Yuan finally reached the best time to practice Qinyan in the early morning. Ding! Host Doom count zeros out. Special effects, 1 triggers, when chosen Qinyan lucky value. 370. Lu Yuan opens his eyes, and his expression is very excited. Then he stretched out his hand, and a flash of turquoise fire appeared from his palm. The beating blue flame, it is the fire of green inflammation. With the fire of Qinyan, he has the ability to refine and build basic herbs. As long as he can get the decoction and herbs from the construction period, he can begin to try refining the construction period medicine. If all goes well, and he gets rid of the days of the Dream Witch, it's not far. In the secret room, Lu Yuan looked at the blue flame beating constantly on his palm, and his heart was very excited. Qinyan Gate is recognized as difficult to cultivate green inflammation. He actually succeeded once. The process is smooth like dove silky smooth.
Although there is systematic help, but through my own persistence and efforts, I can let these 3% of the small probability of events are stillborn. So, me and the system are awesome.
Green inflammation, the effect is amazing. It not only increases the vitality of the practitioner, but also increases the speed of spiritual and physical recovery. Compared with before he practiced Qinyan technique, Lu Yuan now has a full 100 years more masculine life. And this is all due to the green inflammation. You know, even if the dream of building the 5th floor of the foundation period is like smoke, the yang life on the panel is only 350 years. These benefits make Lu Yuan full of confidence in Qinyan surgery. He knew deeply that only those who were alive were qualified to cultivate immortals. Therefore, he decided to choose Qinyan surgery. Now, at last, he has the qualification of refining the basic phase of the medicine. Relying on the probability flow refining, he is confident that in the near future to refine the construction of the base period of medicine. Then, with these pills, it will no longer be difficult for him to break through to the foundation period. However, it is not so simple to want to refine the base period medicine. Although the problem of Danfang can be solved, the problem of medicinal materials needs him to find a way. It was not difficult for him, who had become a disciple of Dangu Weiman, to choose a Danfang in the foundation period. But how to get the medicine of the foundation period? But he needs to think about it. Different from the medicinal materials in the training QI period, the medicinal materials above the foundation period of Qinyan Gate are not freely available. Disciples within the sect need to use the sect contribution points or spiritual stones to exchange. Qinyan Gate uses this method to control the disciples within the gate. For the disciples of the Juji period, they must exchange spiritual stones or Buddhist contributions for various cultivation resources. Otherwise, their cultivation process will be greatly affected. After Lu Yuan learned these, he also had to feel the brilliant means of Qinyan Gate. They not only let the disciples willingly become the leeks to be cut, but also let them feel that the school's help to them is too great, so that they have the opportunity to cultivate the immortal. This approach is indeed admirable. However, for Lu Yuan, as long as he can break through to the foundation period and become the true disciple of Elder Han, he does not have to worry about being cut leek. He believed that, as long as he became a true disciple, he would no longer be cut as a leek by the school. Calculate the time. It is only 2 days before his next delivery day. Lu Yuan was ready to use these 2 days to finish the rest of the work. The first is to use up the basic Peiyuan Dan medicinal materials accumulated in the past few days. The other is to pass the assessment of Dangu's outer gate disciples and exchange for a Danfang in the foundation period. Bai Dafei, a friar of Yundan Valley in Qinyan Gate, broke through to the foundation period at the age of 30. Good at alchemy, joined the Qinyan Gate by Han Yuan Shanjidan Elder Fancy, become its true disciple. Bai Dafei pays great attention to interpersonal relations and strives to make friends from all walks of life to achieve good karma. He understood that cultivating immortals is not only about fighting, but also about worldly wisdom. Therefore, he chose to come to Dangle to learn alchemy, to master a core skill, so that others would want something from him. Fortunately, he has a special talent in alchemy, and can make high-quality medicine in a short time. However, he is aware that he is not the fastest cultivators, but he enhances his contacts and influence by making good connections. In the Qinyan Gate, both the elders and other true disciples spoke very well of him.
This elder brother? This elder brother?
Lu Yuan is sleeping. Bai Dafei wake up. But Bai Dafei did not appear impatient, but very friendly to ask him about identity and purpose. This kind of friendly attitude surprised Lu Yuan, and also made him have a strong impression on Bai Dafei. Bai Dafei pulled Lu Yuan to sit down. The fat round face showed a kind smile. He explained to Lu Yuan the contents of the assessment of the Dangu Weiman disciples. He told Lu Yuan that he needed to accumulate 15 pieces of Qi training period Dan medicine so as to pass the examination. This information is very important to Lu Yuan because he has full confidence in his alchemy skills and believes that he can pass the test. In the process of Bai Dafei helping Lu Yuan understand the content of the examination, Lu Yuan observed Bai Dafei's panel and found that his upper limit of Qi is very high, reaching 1,500. This surprised him very much, because the level of QI talent often determines a person's future achievements. Do not blame Lu Yuan so surprised to know that even the dream such as Smoke this demon woman, only 2,000 gas limit. It can be said that among all the monks Lu Yuan has met so far, Bai Dafei's upper limit of QI is the second highest. Lu Yuan thinks Bai Dafei is a potential stock and decides to establish a good relationship with him. Bai Dafei, construction of the 4th floor, gas transport value, 1,300, 1,500, this person is harmless. Will have a strong affinity, not easy to cause hostility by others. On the way to the assessment place, Lu Yuan took the initiative to talk to Bai Dafei. They all think each other worth making friends with. When the human strange meets the stable strange, the atmosphere is surprisingly harmonious. In such a harmonious atmosphere, the two people soon came to the assessment site at the back of the hall. Donggu Nave, Disciple Assessment Venue. Lu Yuan, under Bai Dafei's guidance, used an advanced threaded furnace, which was not only larger and more complex in texture, but also better able to conduct psychic forces and control them more finely. This made Lu Yuan realize that part of his spiritual power that had disappeared before was the problem of the furnace. It was the insufficient conduction efficiency of the furnace that caused him to waste a lot of psychic power. Lu Yuan began to refine, looking at what he clearly did not start to do, but out of thin air more than 10% success rate, suddenly feeling, this is different with good equipment. In the assessment process, Lu Yuan showed his superb alchemy skills. Every step of his operation is skilled and smooth, flowing like a cloud. His refining process is not only accurate, but also full of rhythm, as if he were performing a wonderful dance. In order to effectively improve the entry rate of Dangu's disciples, there is actually an invisible standard for the assessment of Dangu's outer gate disciples. That is, scoring according to the process. Bai Dafei, as a judge of the assessment, also secretly observing the alchemy process of Lu Yuan. He carefully observed every move, every step of the land source, and rated his performance. I have to say, some of the doors look very antique, very mist-shrouded, very Shangxia style, but put aside the phenomenon to see the essence. This so-called school, whether it is monopoly, employee incentive system, employee training system, performance appraisal, and other operations, play more than many modern companies in the world of science and technology. In the next weight, Lu Yuan found that this time, the refining success rate of more than 100% of the basic Peiyuan Dan. He did not understand this. 1 out of 10? After an hour, the alchemy is completed. At the same time, the Bai Dafei next to it has long looked silly, because he found this brother in the refining of basic Peiyuan Dan. It seems that he is even more skilled than the true disciple of Dangu. Asked to Lu Yuan actually just learned alchemy for a month, Bai Dafei completely untenable. My father, this alchemy of yours, that can be practiced in a month? But looking at the serious look of Lu Yuan, Bai Dafei felt that Lu Yuan could not lie. Finally, Lu Yuan opened the furnace after judging that the chicken Dan had been condensed. The next second, a strong golden light emanated from the furnace. The dazzling light, let alone Bai Dafei, even Lu Yuan himself was stunned. I have seen the food that can glow, but I have not seen the potion that can glow. Are you sure I picked up the right script? This golden glow from the furnace did not last long. Moments later, as the light dissipated, everything returned to normal. But at this time of Lu Yuan and Bai Dafei, it is two faces Meng forced to look at Dan furnace. It's obviously not clear what's going on. With curiosity, Lu Yuan looked at the description of this elixir. Basic Peiyuan Dan. Perfect. After taking, can greatly improve the user's spirit force absorption speed. Small probability to improve the user's spirit root qualification. This is the first time Lu Yuan sees the word perfect in his refined herbal medicine. And the most exaggerated is that it can improve the user's spiritual root qualification. He cannot help but doubt that such a cow Peiyuan Dan is really a small spicy chicken like me can be refined. Lu Yuan put the perfect basic Peiyuan Dan income in the storage bag. Lu Yuan's little actions, all by Bai Dafei, see in the eyes. But he pretended not to see. The reason why Bai Dafei can establish a good reputation up and down the Qinyan Gate. The most important thing is that he never prays into other people's secrets. After all, only by keeping your mouth shut can you let others down and get along well. After Bai Dafei took Lu Yuan to complete the registration of Dangu Outer Gate disciples, Lu Yuan officially became a member of Dangu. Don't underestimate these words, which means twice as many consoles and resources every month. White whoring is not necessarily the best, but it must be the most cool. Bai Dafei, in order to get the help of Lu Yuan in the future, gave Lu Yuan an idle thread Dan furnace as a greeting gift. Although Lu Yuan knew Bai Dafei gave him thread Dan furnace's ulterior motives, but the sugar-coated cannonball, he is still difficult to resist. Bai Dafei's communication skills surprised Lu Yuan, and his wisdom and emotional intelligence were fully displayed in handling interpersonal relationships. Lu Yuan also thanked Bai Dafei for reminding him not to easily show others their special alchemy techniques. Bai Dafei suggested he go to a special alchemy room to ensure safety, although it takes some spiritual stone, but it is worth it. Lu Yuan looked at Bai Dafei's back. The heart is very complicated. He thought that such a stable person would surely make a difference in the future. No matter how you look at it, this is a big guy with a future. After feeling, Lu Yuan listened to Bai Dafei's words and rented a separate alchemy room in the Dan Valley. The price of renting an alchemy room is also not expensive. It's only 5 spiritual stones a month. After making sure that there was no one around, Lu Yuan couldn't wait to take out the perfect basic Peiyuan Dan. After arriving at the private alchemy house, Lu Yuan began to think about the key to this success. He realized that the refining process was not much different from usual, except that the threaded furnace was used.